Brian White, it is an amazing day already in Tesla stock land. Last time I checked, it had come off its highs, but we had danced around 451 early in the morning, and that means we'll probably go back there sometime, if not today, tomorrow, the next day. And I think people are pretty excited about Thursday. I don't know there's something going on Thursday. I'm trying to keep it all straight.
Could be anything. I was going to make a joke about, oh, well, I sold at the high of 108 or 210, or there's a lot of very well regarded folks in the community. How they're well regarded is beyond me, who were
Usually was.
proud
Usually
to
was.
sell out at like 208, 250. And they defend it by saying, yeah, we stand by that decision. That was a good, really? If you hadn't done that, maybe your fund wouldn't be underwater. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Now, if they had taken all that money and been lucky enough to put it into NVIDIA or, possibly Broadcom, there's a couple of stocks which they could have done pretty well in the meantime, but Tesla has gone up 100% in over 100% in the last 12 months. So there's not many stocks that have done that.
The Mag 7 is pulling the entire S&P out of the gutter.
Yeah, that's true. Absolutely 100%. And interestingly, though, as CERN pointed out last week on my show, is that the S&P, the other members of the Mag 7, their PEs are 33, 25. Even Nvidia's only like 50. So they're not crazy PEs.
Hmm, yeah.
And now that I'm moving again,
I wondered if it was just on my end.
so I don't know what's going on with my computer, but it's been doing this a little bit. All right, I'm going to. So taking into consideration that we do have the numbers coming out on Thursday, and we have FSD coming out any minute, FSD 14. I thought we would kind of go around the world as we have so many times before, not necessarily factory by factory, but just kind of hitting the points that may be the most in question with regard to how the numbers might turn out on Thursday. And by the way, do you have a number for Thursday?
I don't have it dialed all the way in. It's going to be close to 500, but not 500.
Okay, all right. And I know that we had an increase this morning to 476 from Troy, and
Mm.
that's the only one I've seen. I haven't seen anybody else's number. Any of the
I've
other
seen Wall Street
community,
numbers that
no,
they keep
community
saying they keep increasing because I want to say they started at 30, which is, a little low.
431, I think was the number for a while. Now it's 447, depending on who you ask. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah, a couple of the pundits are at 470.
Hmm.
I haven't seen any of the other community members, so I don't know if everybody's just no longer wants to play the game or what's going on.
Peggy would be the one to ask on that. He usually would be getting in touch with me today or tomorrow to get my number.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So Berlin seems to be one of the more interesting ones. What are you hearing about Berlin?
Berlin has added shifts. Sales in Europe are, as you know, destroyed. Never been worse. Well, in some markets that may be true. Germany is, by all appearances, down. But we do have late reports from Germany that end of quarters here, they're doing localized deliveries. The numbers are bigger than expected, but still low. They've got huge numbers in other markets in Europe, Spain, UK. I think UK is doing all right. Um, Sweden, I think they had a huge month in Sweden. And Berlin is exporting to Canada. So
Mhm.
that picked up some of the slack left by Germany. Now, mind you, Germany is the fifth largest auto market in the world. Being down in Germany is not good, but we know they added more hours of production. That leads me to believe that would lead anyone to believe there's a reasonable conclusion to be had. Production is up for the quarter in Berlin.
Yeah, and so there was, I think, a quote this morning that Berlin is having a record month. Now, I don't know if that's record deliveries or just record production, but if you've added shifts, you probably do have record production. The question is, do they have a place to send all those cars? Yeah.
And Tesla's been very good at getting deliveries into customer hands.
Mhm.
I'm still expecting to see an inventory drawdown. The delivery number this quarter, I expect to be higher than the production number.
Are we hearing any other news out of Berlin? Are we hearing any news about 4680s, about Model Qs, about trucks, about anything that might be going to use up some of that available space over there? Anything at all?
About a month ago, we saw what certainly looked like a dozen or two of the Model YL.
Mm.
Those are not being delivered. Those are not being offered for sale yet in Germany. I expect to see that made available at the beginning of the quarter because although people complain that vehicles are already too large, this is not significantly bigger than a Model Y already. And there are people who want more space, people who buy the large Mercedes, the large BMWs. So I think that we'll be seeing those soon. That will not use up extra space, though. That'll use existing space. So in terms of using the other space, there's that building there that's designed to build 4680s. To my knowledge, it hasn't yet. That 4680 form factor is particularly vexing, and I only know one person who can answer the question as to why, and she steadfastly refuses to give me any information because she knows perfectly well who I am.
There you go. Well, speaking of Model YLs, we had decent numbers out of China last week. Of course, we'll get the next set of numbers tonight. And the YLs were at about the 800 per week. Brian Wang is thinking that they should be more like 3,000, maybe even more than that. What are you hearing? Anything? Are you seeing anything? What do you got for China?
I have seen the skeptics saying it is a complete flop. How can they only be at 900 on week 3? Well, there's your answer, week 3. That's the whole answer. You can't build the car unless you have every single piece of it. Oh, but if Tesla's so much better than everyone else, how come they can't ramp quicker? Because they're still buying the parts from parts suppliers, and parts suppliers are the same. So it's not a question of Tesla doing something wrong. This is not a problem. This is how ramps go. It's normal for a company to deliver a new product in a ramping fashion. That's what you expect to see. If you didn't see it, that would be the story. That would be headline news that Tesla could ramp to huge numbers straight out of the gate without stockpiling and making an artificially smooth delivery cycle. There are more orders than can be filled. The cars are popular. People like them. They've got a bunch of new bells and whistles, at least in the China market. They've got automatic armrests in the second row to make egress from the third row easier. They've got a new Hey Tesla thing that I think they've rolled out to all vehicles that allows you to activate your voice commands that way, which is a very Chinese thing. The Chinese market is full of those digital assistants. They love that in that market. So it's the YL is fine. It's on track.
Have you heard anything about whether the YL is being offered in any other markets? I haven't.
No,
No, it's not so far.
not yet.
Okay. All right. And then, of course, we'll be constantly talking about the Model Q. Is there any evidence at all that the Q is going to be made in Shanghai yet?
No, no, there isn't. The evidence surrounding the more affordable model is very limited. I've seen spy shots where they say, "This is it, you guys, this is it," even though this one has a glass roof and we know it won't. So it's like, okay, so not it is what I hear you saying. Um, no, that I'm expecting that any day, but I think they want to finish out the quarter with a bang and then get onto it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. So, speaking of Shanghai, we are all hoping for a very big number on the batteries being shipped out and being counted for profit.
Mhm.
Is there any news at all about Shanghai ramp since we last talked about it a few weeks ago?
News today, this is Monday. In Australia, a huge new order just was announced, and it was, I want to say, 236 megapacks. Let me see. I've got it right here. Um, it is Maybe I don't have it.
Okay.
I thought I did. Hmm. Very weird. I thought I had that. But there is going to be, the orders just keep showing up. Not every project is announced.
Mm.
When somebody adds one at their, Electrify America uses Megapacks.
Mm.
Not all the stations, but what I've learned from interviews with Quincy and Sith at Electric Era, the charging company, public fast charging company out of Seattle, I asked, why are rates so high? Why are they charging $1? He said, well, in some markets, that's what it really costs. I go, how? I'm looking at the commercial rates. How? He said, aha, your cost is two things. It's how many watts you use, how many kilowatts you use, but it's also whatever the highest peak for demand you get during the month is your load charge.
Mm.
So if you have these big spikes throughout the month, that's the base rate that they're going to multiply it by. So by adding megapacks to these locations, you can pull that peak way down and reduce the cost that you would need to charge everyone by sometimes half and still make a profit. So we don't see all the orders. We just know that they're going gangbusters.
So the overall number out of China last week was also good, but not
Mhm.
like a record by any stretch of the imagination. But we don't also have any idea how many are being shipped out. And we've heard, reports from South Korea, from Japan, from Australia. At least I have been seeing some reports like this that some of these export markets are doing really, really well.
That sounds correct. I mean, Korea, we've seen huge numbers. We've seen, and why? They've been in Korea for years. Why all of a sudden big numbers? Is it because it coincides with the launch of the Cybertruck? Is it because everyone went into a showroom just to look? I'm just going to look. We should get, you know what? We should get one. That'd be funny. Honey, we are not buying a Cybertruck. But that Model Y looks pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
The halo effect cannot be understated. It is cannot be overstated.
Yeah. Yeah.
That can't be the one. Who cares? But the idea is that uh, people will go in and look and buy whatever it is they buy. And if you're looking to buy a car, maybe it's time. The Model Y is a very good choice. There are great competitors in the Korean market. You've got domestic brand loyalty to
Mhm.
Hyundai, to Kia. But what you don't have is a Tesla. And Tesla is simply a better car.
So India, first week seemed really small. Some of the headlines were, "Oh, sorry, a failure in India." Then the second week, the numbers looked a lot better, and then I've lost track, or they've stopped reporting. Have you heard anything more about how India is going?
Anecdotal. What I've seen is people posting, hey, we just took delivery. That's something we never saw out of India on account of the only Teslas in the country having come in through parallel channels, gray market. Um, we know they've got more than one location set up. That's going to expand. It's tough because the car is still 70,000 US dollars in India. That's very expensive. But there are people who can and will buy it for that. And yeah, we're not seeing the full impact just yet, but we know that in a country of over 1 billion people, there are a whole bunch who can afford to buy this.
Right, right. So last week, I think it was, you said that you anecdotally were hearing that there were actually some cars in showrooms in the United States, as opposed to being completely sold out. I know my neighbor finally got his. He just got his new white Model 3. What are you seeing? Are you hearing any more anecdotally this week? Are they now empty showrooms, or as we get now down to the last minute?
I am not seeing them emptied the way I expected them to. I looked a few days ago at inventory and I found inventory of all models were still available within 200 miles of me.
Mhm.
But I think they were down to three or so
I see.
Model Ys that were listed as qualifying. So I don't, if you want a car, it is it is not too late. On a lease, you have to take delivery by tomorrow.
Yes.
On a purchase, you have to have a binding contract Tesla's changed the language in the contract so that it is binding. So you can go in today or tomorrow and do the paperwork, pay your deposit, your down payment, whatever it may be, and be in contract and still qualify for the $7,500 IRA credit.
Have you heard anything at all about that part of the game? Do we expect to have a nice carry forward into December of orders, or are you kind of on the conservative side thinking that that the fourth quarter could be really kind of slow in the U.S. as a result of the pull forward?
So I don't think it's going to drag all the way to December. I'll be surprised if it drags to the end of October. There is enough inventory, and it's not like they're losing their minds with binding orders for vehicles that can't be delivered. The only person who's waiting for a vehicle that can't be delivered are people who want a specific wheel size, a specific color, whatever it may be. So that will peter out. Q4 is historically the strongest in the US. It's always a good quarter. Uh, what that means, though, is that we probably had a lot of orders that would have come in Q4 that were pulled forward to Q3 so that they could take advantage of it. Q4, I think, is going to be tough. It's going to be the most expensive a Tesla has been in years. And even though interest rates have come down a little, they haven't come down a lot. And while Tesla can buy down that interest rate for you, do a 0% interest promotion, it doesn't always get through to the buyer's psyche where they understand that rates are good right now. They might go online and look at, Bankrate or one of those sites and see terrible, terrible rates. When I was looking for the Model Y, I looked at Bankrate and the rates were atrocious. Then I went through Tesla financing and got a better rate than what they had, which was surprising. Yeah. And for the record, here's what happened, Randy, is I applied through Tesla Finance for the Model Y in 2023. They said, you are tentatively approved. You're pre-approved pending final underwrite at, I don't know, 7%. And I thought, well, if it comes in over that, they're going to tell me. And if it comes in under that, they're going to keep it. And then I get an email the next day saying, your loan is approved. Please check, the terms have changed. I'm like, yeah, I bet they did. And it was lower. It was like 6.4. And I thought, wow, that's the most ethical thing I've ever seen a car company do.
How about that? All right. So the other big expectation for this week, of course, is FSD. No, let me ask you first about the deployments. Maybe we talked about this last week. I don't remember. But what are you thinking the number might be both this quarter and next quarter? What is your kind of estimate of what you think deployments might look like?
Sure. Last quarter was a little lower than Q2, wasn't it?
It was like 9.7 or 9.5, something like that.
Mm-hmm. I expect this to be the biggest quarter by a hair, and next quarter to be even bigger. It's lumpy. We could be wrong. It could be 8 and next quarter could be 14, but it'll balance out in the end. We know that Shanghai has been shipping like crazy all year. We know Lathrop has never slowed down. Next year, we've got the new one in Texas coming online. It's going to just keep going. I'm not worried in the short term, but I'm expecting it to be the best month ever, the best quarter ever for deployments.
All right. Okay. So just for those who don't watch me every day, I'm anticipating 13 to 15 this quarter, and maybe on the order of 17 next quarter.
Would that surprise me? No.
No. Okay. Okay. Good. All right.
Okay. Oh, thank goodness. Well, you're right, because it should be 10 per quarter per factory.
Right.
Yeah. So that's very reasonable.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So then FSD. I've had a very long conversation with Phil Beisel. I've had a very long conversation with Brian Wang about FSD 1, 0, 1, and 2. I'm hoping maybe you'll be able to explain why they've announced 3 versions in advance. I'm still confused if they're working on version 14.2.2, just come out with it.
So why? Because you have to test it. When you and I build a widget, it's very easy to test because it has one or two or 100 features and we know what they are and we test them. But when it's end-to-end neural nets, we don't know what's in the box. And so we have to test it in a reactive fashion rather than a proactive fashion. And that takes a lot of time. You have to wait for those edge cases to come up. And they don't come up quickly, obviously. They're edge cases. That's the whole point. So it is likely that 14.0 or 14.1 is what employees have been testing for months. If that's the case, if it's proved safe and effective and it's not doing anything crazy, roll it out, limited, then wide, or just go wide. I don't know. How much testing have you done? But in the meantime, they can be testing 1 and 2. And I mean, if it takes 3 months to test, but only a month and a half to come out with a new version, I could see why you would have 3 rolling at any given time.
Yeah, I mean, Elon said the other day that 14.2 is sentient, so therefore he must be driving 14.2. Maybe he's the only one, but somebody's got 14.2 already in their vehicle called Elon Musk.
I take his claims on FSD with a heaping quarter cup of salt, because if you go back 5 years, he'll tell you that I am on the bleeding edge build of the FSD, and you won't believe it. It's almost done. It's basically done. And it's like, well, that was a lie. So, and then we find out in the book that no, he storms into the development office and says it tried to kill me. And yeah, so I don't know. I don't give that any weight, unfortunately.
I see. Okay. All right. So we'll look at these things rolling out over the next few weeks. So then we've got if we are hitting these kind of numbers on the shipment side and the deployment side, then we could be looking at a much bigger number in terms of earnings per share coming up, and we'll find out the exact date of the meeting. We'll find that out on Thursday as well. They always make that announcement. I'm kind of playing around in my head with a, back of the napkin math of maybe as high as 70 to 90 cents. Have you done any kind of analysis yet?
No, I don't do the earnings per share because I've tried to model it and my models fall apart. When I build a model, I uh, start with a basic idea and then I test it against past quarters and then I tweak it. And then what I would do is say, okay, I'm going to not publish, but just have this model for this quarter. And then I see the results. I'm like, well, that was useless. So I don't publish those. I could publish a guesstimate number, but it would literally be a dartboard number, and I don't do that. I actually do the analysis and try and be more honest than the Wall Street guys. I know, crazy, right? But yeah, so I haven't had an opportunity to do that. I think anything is possible.
Yeah, my methodology is not terribly sophisticated. I take a look at the last quarter. This is what I do
Mhm.
with my own business. I take a look at the last quarter. I take a look at there's really two products that matter, is cars and energy. I take what I think they're going to ship in cars, see where I think there's differences. I'm just looking at the differences.
Mhm.
More cars? Do I think there was a higher margin? Do I think it was a higher average cost per car? And I say, okay, that looks to me like that's an extra 20 cents because they sold more cars at a higher price with a greater margin. And then I look at the energy. I say, well, looks like they're going to ship a lot more energy. I really have no way to calculate the average selling price. I have no way to guess the margins. So on that one, that's all the information I have is more of. And so
Mhm.
if it's more of, then maybe that's worth another 20 or 30 cents. And that's how I come up with my numbers. So it's a fairly, it's not that sophisticated, but I haven't been crazy wrong.
Well, here's some other numbers that will play in. Now that Australia and New Zealand are FSD nations, uh,
Mhm.
the deferred revenue there counts this quarter,
Yeah.
and the subscription revenue counts this quarter. It hasn't gone out to hardware 3. Unfortunately, those are the majority of the vehicles in those markets. So it won't be huge, but I mean, I mean, those are dollars, they count. Uh, yeah. And I would argue that FSD take rate globally has likely improved, likely continues to improve. And I would argue that it's mostly on subscriptions, not sales, and subscriptions count day of rather than any part of it being deferred.
There might be some pickup on the deferments also in the United States,
Mm.
if they, especially if they ship 14 tomorrow.
Well, and we don't know how much remains to be counted.
Well, there is a number available in the 10Q, but that's a CERN basher thing.
Mhm.
I don't spend a lot of time with the 10Q.
So what you're saying is when I said we don't know, that was true.
You and I don't know. But if we ask CERN, he either knows or can find out.
I should mention before the show is over that I'm going to be in Michigan, October 12th through the 16th for the fourth roadmap conference, which is electrification and mobility and EVs and all that, autonomy. So if you're in Michigan, let me know. There's a meet and greet on the 12th from 11 to 2 at Plymouth Orchards.
You are going to be seeing some gorgeous trees, but then
Mm,
but then maybe your part of the country has fairly decent color change anyway, does it?
we do.
You do.
Well, my street does.
Your street does.
That's the only place I go.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that covers the things that I wanted to cover. We'll see if the stock comes out. That we're recording, of course, this on Monday morning. We'll see if the stock does move back up towards that 450 range again. And Brian, I was really early on my all-time high predictions, but nobody's going to care if we hit all-time high this week or next week or the next week. Everybody will still say Randy was sort of right.
I don't know how many people give you credit.
Just sorta. They'll say sorta.
Yeah,
As you
that's
know,
fair.
that's what we say, sorta.
That's fair.
All right, Brian, follow him. He's everywhere under the name Future Aza, A-Z-A or at and .com. No, do you have a .com?
I do. It
Oh,
just doesn't look like it. It's very half built.
it's half built. Okay. You can build them now with AI, so it's really easy.
Yeah, I'll get right on that.
You get right on that. Okay, all right. It's been great, Brian, and to all of you out there, it's been great as well. That's what I say at the end, right, Brian?
I think so.
Okay, all right.